Crimson Trace offers a full line of protection-oriented products, including red laser sights, green laser sights, and tactical weapon lights to elevate your confidence in moments that matter. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
If you set the combination locks to 308, 357, or 3006, you're in the right place. It's Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Call 866-TALK-GUN.
All right, back with you here, Tom Gresham. Easy to get in. Just call me a Tom Talk Gun or 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. It's been 28 years since the Luby's massacre in Killeen, Texas. Dr. Susana Gracia Hupp watched her parents murdered in front of her eyes because she left her gun in her car because it was required by law there. We learned a lot of lessons from that, and it is good when we get a chance. I mean, we hate it that these kind of things happen, but it's interesting how the reaction is on this. Our next guest is the author of Stalked and Defenseless, How Gun Control Helped My Stalker Murder My Husband in Front of Me. We're joined right now by Nikki Goeser. Nikki, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hi there, Tom. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Now, you've been making the media circuit on your book, and I mean, a lot of people know the story. If you would, give us the clip notes, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit about kind of how the media has been treating you. But tell people what happened on this night.
Well, my husband, Benjamin, and I were newlyweds, and a man who was stalking me shot my husband 7 times, killing him in front of myself and 50 other witnesses in the middle of a busy restaurant. This restaurant was a gun-free zone, and I obeyed that law and left my permitted legal firearm that I normally carried for self-defense locked in my vehicle that night. Of course, my stalker did not have a handgun carry permit, brought a gun in illegally into a gun-free zone, and I'll probably wonder for the rest of my life if I could have prevented that. Of course, I'll never know because I was denied a chance. Right. I was stalked and defenseless.
A lot of times when we hear a story like this, it's because the gun ban crowd, the gun ban lobby, uses the woman in this situation to be a poster child for gun control, for gun confiscation. You didn't go that way. Why?
Because assault is a behavior. It's not an object. I don't agree with anyone hating the object. You know, that very object, a gun, it can be used to save innocent lives, and they are used every single day to protect innocent lives.
So what's been your course of action since this horrible time, watching your husband be murdered in front of you? You've actually become a very outspoken proponent for armed self-defense, particularly for women.
Absolutely. Look, millions of women each year are stalked and feel threatened. According to the CDC, 1 in 6 women have been stalked during their life. And the one thing that bothers me, it's the advice that women get. It tends to be limited to changing their name, moving, changing jobs, don't follow a routine, get a restraining order, tell others about the stalker, etc. But what is generally not talked about are the benefits of getting training on justifiable use of force, getting a gun legally for self-defense. I mean, this is seen as a taboo subject, and it's not openly talked about when advising women on how to protect themselves. And this should be an option that is shared with women, not avoided. And then women can decide for themselves what will work best to help protect them. But, you know, I believe that this should be an option that's openly talked about. And I think that, you know, you hear the left all the time talking about women's empowerment. Well, yeah, let's talk about women's empowerment. I don't think that it's fair that women have to bear the burden of changing their entire life and live like a hermit because of some creep, you know, that can't take no for an answer. They should be empowered to protect themselves. Gun rights are women's rights.
You would almost think that the Me Too movement would be all over this of, yeah, you're able to say no, and then you don't have to depend upon somebody else to enforce you saying no, because what you're being told, almost always by men, is there, little lady, don't you worry about taking care of yourself. You just call us and we'll come take care of you, assuming that you're not dead or the people around you are not dead by the time they get to you. And what you're saying is, no. Self-empowerment. Take care of yourself. Do it yourself. Be your own first responder. So the question I have for you, one of them is that as you've made the media rounds talking about your new book, Stalked And Defenseless, what's been the reaction? Are you getting any pushback or any of the media just kind of going, yeah, well, no, you don't really want to be doing that?
Well, there's always people that will push back, but by and large, it's been a positive reaction. I think more and more people are realizing the dangers of gun-free zones. Well, these women should not be made defenseless. Now, I'm mostly talking about women here, but, I mean, This goes for everybody. I mean, men need to protect themselves too, but, women are at a huge disadvantage physically. We're just generally not as strong physically as men
are. It's interesting you say that. Yeah, I was a few years ago, and I had one of those epiphany moments, being the clueless guy that I tend to be at times, and realized I was talking to a whole crowd, and I said, how many people here think about, being vulnerable like every day? 100% of the women did. 100% of the women. It's like that is part of the makeup. And I think it's one of the things that a lot of men don't understand is because of, obviously, the sexual nature of assaults against women. Women think about assault on them much, much more often than do men. And as a result, I think men often can't fully appreciate where you are and don't actually acknowledge or honor the reality of what it is to be a woman. Is that fair?
I think some men do understand, but, I think you have a better understanding if you're in the same situation as a woman.
Right.
Men are just stronger. They just don't know what it feels like to have to worry about your own safety because you have no real way to defend yourself just with your own hands. There's no way in general that a woman can fight off a man, even her own size, but
how does it change?
Even more dangerous.
How does it change how you feel about your personal security when you do have your firearm and you know that you have training and you know what to do?
I feel like I have much of a greater chance of being able to successfully defend myself. Look, when you go get training, your firearms trainers will tell you, you're not the police. Your job is not to go and apprehend the bad guy who's trying to assault you. The whole point of carrying a gun for self-defense is to maximize the distance between you and the perpetrator, to try and keep them away from you, to try and keep the crime from happening.
Absolutely. And of course, the whole idea of the gun-free zones, I just think that very idea is immoral because it says that, look, the bad guys, we know are going to ignore this. We know that the bad guys will come in here, and we're just going to make it a rule that all the good guys have to be defenseless. And so where do we see, the majority of these mass shootings tend to happen in gun-free zones? And in your case, that's where, your tragedy took place. I just want to applaud you for the book. It is excellent. Stalked and Defenseless, How Gun Control Helped My Stalker Murder My Husband in Front of Me. Nikki Goeser. It's available on Amazon, I guess, other places as well?
Yep, Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Okay, very good. Well, if you would, please continue to tell your story. It is important, and everybody, not just women, but everybody needs to understand. And I will tell you, for a lot of us, we've kind of gotten a little bit blind to some of these gun-free zone signs. It's one of those deals you got to make a choice, and mine is to be safe. So there you go. Nikki, thank you again. I appreciate it. You take care. All right, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. My name is Tom Gresham. Have you got to be where it's a little bit hard to see some of those gun-free zone signs? Give me a holler.
Trouble is unpredictable. It shows up without warning. It rears its ugly head when and where you least expect it. Trouble has no conscience, no regrets, no remorse. Be prepared and protected with the MC1 SC Subcompact 9mm pistol by Mossberg. Yes, Mossberg, the company trusted by police and military for decades. The MC1 SC Subcompact 9mm pistol. Small, powerful, snag-free. Always with you. Available with night sights or laser. Mossberg.com.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Mental health and guns. At Walk the Talk America, we are working with both the mental health community and the gun industry. Created by a gun industry veteran, Walk the Talk America seeks to raise awareness and create change through suicide prevention and firearm safety without legislation. We strive to eliminate the prejudice that firearms and mental health face. For more information and to support Walk the Talk America, please visit walkthetalkamerica.org.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I find that I see fewer of those no gun signs. I think probably they're coming down a lot of places. That must be what it is, right? 866 Talk Gun. Let's see, current polling on the Democrat side for the presidential candidacy. Let's figure out who's going to be the candidate. Michael Bloomberg is now tied for third. Yeah, he just came in. He's not been in any of the debates. Remember back when he said he was going to be running, and I kept saying, do not discount this guy. Do not count him out. He's not going to run a traditional campaign. He has enough money where he doesn't have to. And when I say enough money, I know people think they know what I mean, but I'm not sure you really do. Because the amount of money is almost hard to imagine. When you're worth more than $50 billion. He's already spent $155 million on his candidacy. And that's nothing. That's chicken feed. 0.2% of what he's worth. It's nothing. So, Michael Bloomberg is in Montgomery, Alabama. This week, he was asked about the West Freeway Church of Christ in White Settlement, Texas, the shooting there that Jack Wilson stopped by shooting the bad guy in the head, preventing him from killing a lot more people in that church. And Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, the creator and sole founder, or funder, if you will, of the Moms Demand Action and Every Town for Gun Safety, the gun control, gun ban groups, they're all his. He was the guy who created I call them the illegal mayors against guns. They called them mayors against illegal guns, except that these mayors, the individual mayors of these various cities, kept getting thrown in jail, arrested, convicted of crimes. But he was organizing mayors to push for gun control, gun bans. Yeah, that Michael Bloomberg, the guy who banned large cups of soda pop, the guy who is surrounded by 6 to 12 armed men wherever he goes, because, of course, he's special. His life's worth a whole lot more than ours, don't you know? So he was asked about Jack Wilson, the man who shot the murderer, who stopped the crime, who prevented people from being murdered. Michael Bloomberg says it's the job of law enforcement to have guns and decide when to shoot. We just do not want the average citizen carrying a gun in a crowded place. Let me go over that again. Think about the exact words. It is the job of law enforcement to have guns. In other words, it's not your job to have guns because you don't wear the right type of clothing. You don't wear a uniform. Now, you may be a better shot. You may be better trained. And, of course, concealed carry people shoot the wrong people far, far less frequently than do the police. They make far fewer mistakes. They actually shoot better, more accurately in self-defense situations. Yeah, but we don't want them to have guns because they don't have the right clothing, I guess is the deal. And then he says, we, I love this, the royal we, Bloomberg, we just do not want the average citizen carrying a gun in a crowded place. Average citizen, common people, you people is what he means. You people. Man, the arrogance. Line 1, let's go talk to Mark in Oregon. Hello, Mark. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Tom, that's a subject near and dear to your heart called 10 millimeter.
Yes. All right.
And I'm looking at buying a 10 millimeter, and I'm not exactly sure. I like the Rock Islands. I'm kind of interested in the Springfield XDS. I don't know. What do you think about some of those?
Well, let's back up. And yes, I do like the 10 millimeter, obviously. Question would be, what's the purpose? What's the use? Are you going to carry it? You're just going to take it to the range and shoot it? What are we going to do with it? Because that's going to help us start to refine. Are we talking single stack, double stack, or even, heaven forbid, Smith has reintroduced the 610 revolver, so you can shoot 10 millimeter and 40 S&W out of the same gun. So before I weigh into this, what do you think about doing with this? What's the idea?
Well, I just shooting and then carrying it out in the woods.
Okay.
I've got all sorts of other guns I can conceal carry.
Okay, so this would be more of a trail gun, woods gun, maybe a bear lion, wolf kind of gun?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's see. I'll go on my personal experience. I have the Kimber single stack 10 millimeter. I have the SIG single stack 10 millimeter. And then I recently purchased the new Springfield double stack 10 millimeter, which shoots wonderfully. As to which one I like, I don't know. I think it comes down to what do you like. If you are a fan of the 1911 platform, kind of hard to go wrong there. But I will tell you, the new Springfield shoots great. There is one kind of slight downside. It's not a big deal. And that is being a 15-round magazine. When you fill it up, the gun gets a little bit heavier. But that's just the nature of having that much ammo in your gun.
Yeah. Okay, Tom. Well, I thought I would check. I know that you're a big 10 millimeter fan.
I am. I really like the round. I like the versatility of it. And also, the one thing I would tell you, you may already know this, Mark, but shop carefully for ammo. I mean, even today, continuing today, as we go out and chronograph ammo, some of the 10 millimeter ammo, even from major companies, it chronographs so slowly, it's no faster than 40 S&W. So you really got to check on that. I mean, because if they're throwing ammo out there, bullets at 1,100, 1,200 feet per second, I'm looking for more than that out of my 10. And some of the modern ammo just isn't delivering. So you got to shop carefully for that, okay?
Oh, yeah, Buffalo Bore.
Hard to beat. Buffalo Bore makes good stuff. I'm not sure I'd want to shoot a constant diet of that because it's smoking. But if you need something for bear protection, it's pretty hard to beat that.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I reload,
all right.
So
okay.
I'm a real ammo snob, so...
Isn't it funny, though, how hand loaders kind of become ammo snobs? But you know what it is? It's because when you hand load, you simply become more informed. You care about the details. You care about the nuances of bullet selection and velocity, and you really actually know. And so when you are looking for factory ammo, you're just more critical with your shopping, aren't you?
Yeah, you got it.
There it is.
You got it.
Well, good luck. Look, do me a favor. When you figure out which one you want, when you buy it and you go out and shoot it, call us back and give us a range report because everybody wants to know, especially on 10 millimeters. People are just fascinated by that caliber, and with good reason. Good luck with it, Mark, and thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Why 10 millimeter? Well, in a handgun, and a pistol that is, semi-auto, you're getting, if you got the right loads, and go back to what I said before, but if you have the good full power loads, you're getting performance that is right up against the 41 Magnum revolver, which is a great round. A really unheralded round. I actually had several people this week say, wow, the new Python, when are they going to have it in 41 Magnum? I'm thinking probably never. I think it's probably smart to think that Colt will bring out the Anaconda, just the larger frame version, do that in 44 Magnum. Would they do a run of 41? I don't know. I tell you what I did say to them, though. I said, look, you've got the 4 1/4 inch barrel and you got the 6 inch barrel. Would you consider doing a 3 inch barrel? And they looked at me like I had grown horns out of my head. And I said, honestly, a 3 inch barrel, 357 is just one of the handiest things ever. I carry a Smith like that sometimes, the 3 inch 686 Deluxe 7-shot 357 using hardcast lead bullets, and that is a really good bear protection load. Where I'm sitting right now in Idaho, we've got a little cabin up here. Let's see, we just had 2 mountain lions spotted just south of us. They've taken some pets. We have wolf tracks all over the place. I'm not kidding. These are like big gray wolves, timber wolves. They've killed a number of cows, a lot of cattle in this area. And obviously there are bears around. So is it ideal? No, nothing that you can carry on your hip is ideal for that. I'd really rather have a 45-70 or a 4.58 if I had to go after, or protect myself from a bear. But these are really nice. And 10 millimeter works in that same vein. And you can get it as semi-auto. You can get it in 1911. You can get it in the SIG, which is a great platform. You can get it in the Springfield Armory double stack if you prefer that. Choices. Lots and lots of choices. Are you a 10 millimeter person? Love to know about that. Also, have you changed anything in the way of your behavior and what you carry after seeing the video of Jack Wilson shooting this guy at 35 to 50 feet in church? 866 Talk Gun.
On Gun Talk, the answer is always yes.
Of course. 866 Talk Gun, get you in here. Just call Tom Talk Gun. Talk about 10 millimeters. We'll be talking about that a little bit more as we go along here. First, Mike is called in from Idaho on line 1. Hey, Mike. Oh, we're going to Ted. We have Ted up now? Let's do that. All right, we've got Ted Nugent. He's listening in. He says, hey, you want to talk about the 10s? Hey, Ted, how you doing, man?
I'm doing so good at stupid other than this damn flu I've got, Tom. How are you doing?
Well, you got to get over that, but time to get to the SHOT Show in 2 weeks, my friend.
I know. Well, yeah, let me tell you, Tom, you talk about the 10 millimeter and the reintroduction of the mighty Python. Boy, do I have a history of both of those wonderful, wonderful ballistic celebrations. I carried a Python for years, a 4-inch and a 6-inch. And the 10 millimeter, now I have a new Cimarron Arms single action 10 millimeter revolver. It is just a cat's ass. I'm telling you, what a great caliber.
That's one of those deals people go, wait. A single-action revolver in 10 is like all of the things. This is contradictory. And then they always say, well, why? And then, of course, the obvious answer is because I want to.
Well, not only that, but you're talking about also talking about this horror of increased terrorism and the recent hero winning in the church shootout. We talk about what you carry. And when I conduct raids here in Texas with the federal agents, I carried a 10 millimeter, and I had all the confidence in the world that even an extended shot could be done with that round and with proper training and practice. So every time I listen to Gun Talk, I go, I've been there. Yep, Tom's touching base on the things that I've lived. So, number one, thank you for that. Thank you for having Nikki on. The subjects that you cover for people who know that self-defense is a moral obligation, Tom, we really salute you out there. God bless you, man.
Well, let me ask you, Ted, you talk to a lot of people, and over the last 25 years we've been doing this radio show, I think I am seeing a change. I think in the general population, people have awakened to the realization that they really are on their own and the need to take care of themselves and provide their own self-protection. What do you think?
Well, I don't think nothing, but I'll share you the facts of the street pulse. I'm at the local drugstore getting some medicine for my cold, and everybody wants to talk to me about guns, the NRA, hunting rights, and our great president doing the right thing. So I'm really a lucky, blessed man that I'm recognized as a guy who's always stood up for the Second Amendment and the instinct, the moral obligation of self-defense. So people from every imaginable walk of life approach me, Tom, at the coffee shop, at the hardware store, at the drugstore, everywhere Shemaine and I go. And you're absolutely correct. There is a truth, logic, common sense reawakening, like that gentleman who called you earlier, who was prodded by your prodding to get involved. Remember, when good people lose, it's not because we lost, it's because the other side tried harder. So apathy has always been the suicidal curse in America, and I see a great reawakening that really manifested itself in November of 16, and we can only pray to God it will come again in November 20.
And people are starting to show up, speak up, be counted in all of these sanctuary movements throughout Virginia and Kentucky and Illinois and other states. And they're basically, what I'm seeing, Ted, is that people are saying, not one more inch, this is it. You are not going to take our guns away from us. We are no longer complacent. You cannot take us for granted. And we're just not going to allow it anymore.
Well, I moved to Texas 16 years ago, and when I was coming here back in the late 60s and early 70s, and when I witnessed Luby's cafeteria that you referenced earlier, I was shell-shocked. How in God's name could there be any environment, any area of Texas where nobody has a gun? I to this day, I cannot process that ineptitude, especially in Texas, Tom. So we lobbied hard. We got Bush elected over Ann Richards because she vetoed the right to carry guns.
Right.
By the way, Tom, for the first time ever legally in Texas, it's just amazing. So there is a great awakening out here. More people are joining the NRA, the Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, their state firearms organizations, and they're raising more hell with their elected employees. So even though I called to talk about the 10 millimeter, I think activism and we the people standing up for the Constitution, God, family, country, freedom, the Second Amendment, it is a great time to be in America.
And we're going right back to the 10 millimeter, and it's really important. You've been doing 10s forever and ever. The ammo is all over the place, isn't it? You got to get the good stuff.
Absolutely. No, you're correct. I use Corbon, and I use double tap, and I make sure that it has the original ballistics, that 180 grain doing about 1,400 feet a second in its best scenario. Yep. But that's really critical, or you're just shooting a 10 short, which is the 40 S&W.
Or as we call it, the 40 short and wimpy.
Well, some of the FBI agents, they complained about the recoil after Colonel Cooper helped design the mighty 10 millimeter. And of course, when you have a leader like James Comey, I can understand that.
All right, Ted, look, go take care of yourself. Get medicated up because I want to see you in 2 weeks in Vegas, man.
All right, Godspeed. God bless America. God bless President Trump. God bless the military and law enforcement first responders, Tom.
Thank you so much, Ted Nugent. Always fun. It's always fun when I get a text from him. He says, hey, let's talk about the 10. I'm listening to the show right now. I said, well, why not? Anytime Ted Nugent wants on, you got to say yes, right? All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Is there a new gun in your plans for 2020? And what is it? Give me a holler, 866-TALK-GUN.
For more than 70 years, Temney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Temney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TemneyTriggers.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations. on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Our Honey Badger line now features a new 40 Smith & Wesson caliber loading. Gelatin testing shows that this round outperforms conventional hollow points, not only in terms of velocity, penetration, and weight retention, but it also provides superior temporary cavities. The profile and solid copper construction assure flawless feeding. This is the latest technology in handgun performance. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
What was your takeaway when you finally got a chance to see the video from the church shooting last Sunday in Texas? I assume you've seen it. It's everywhere. You got to be careful because some of I don't know what's going on. Are we just that afraid of offending people? Some places I've seen where they have the video available, they actually blur out the part of the picture where the shooter is or where the good guys are. They don't want you to be able to see people being shot and murdered. And then a couple of times I've seen the video in news organizations, they're running the video and then they freeze the frame on the video and let the audio go forward so you can hear the gunshots, but you don't actually get to see the shooting taking place. Well, that gets all well and good, but at the same time, if you're serious about this, if you want to learn from this, you got to watch it. You got to see what happened. How did it go down? What can I learn from it? Are there some takeaways here? I mean, first takeaway is carry your gun when you go to church. Are you kidding me? This is an attractive, soft target. Where are you going to sit? Here's a question for you. When you go to the theater, movie theater, where do you go to places like that? Where do you sit? Do you like to have that perfect place that's right in the middle of the aisle? Really? Have you thought about how much more difficult it is to escape, to move or maneuver, to make a move on a shooter, to make a move to get away? Me, I want to be on an aisle. I want to be where I have mobility, where I can move. Yes, it's not as good as sitting right in the center, being able to see the big screen. I'm okay with that. Life is full of compromises, especially when you conceal carry. Hey, let's go talk to Michael out of Baton Rouge. He's on line 3. Hey, Michael, 10 millimeter. What's on your mind?
Hey, Tom. Well, a couple of months ago, I called in talking about a Colt Delta Elite 10 millimeter that I picked up. I'll tell you, that's becoming one of my favorite guns to take to the range. It is just a hoot. I took your advice. I've been buying some good quality ammo. Actually, I agree with Ted Nugent. Corbin makes some good stuff, and it is just fantastic.
What is it about the 10 that is so interesting and exciting for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a snappy hot rod round, and I kind of like that. But I'll tell you, for some reason, I am just accurate with that gun, and I'm not doing anything different than I would with a regular 45 1911 or any other gun. But I just seem to get nice tight groups with it. The trigger is very, very crisp on it. It's I think I got a Wednesday gun. It's a good one.
It's interesting you say that. I've had a lot of people say, I just shoot 10s better. And you would actually kind of logically think it's the other way around because it has more recoil. It's a little bit more snappy. But, I mean, I was shooting the new Ruger revolver, 10 millimeter revolver. And we're at the range and we keep backing up. And I'm back at 60 and 70 yards, whanging on steel with this 10 millimeter. I'm just thinking, this is crazy. This thing shoots so well. So, I mean, I know what you're saying, but I got to tell you, I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I mean, even I go down to the Sherburne range here in southern Louisiana, and occasionally I will shoot out to 50 yards. That's as far as we can go in the pistol pit, and it's just a fantastic gun. And that's stock sights, stock everything on the gun. I haven't done a thing to it, and it just shoots fantastic.
Okay, I see you also have a range report for us on a 3220. What's that about?
So a gun I've had in my safe for a while is a Smith & Wesson 3220 hand ejector, model in 1905. This one I think shipped from the factory around 1910 or 1911, but I finally decided to take it out to the range, and you know, they don't make guns with triggers like that anymore. I mean, that was just one of the nicest shooting revolvers I have ever taken to the range. Definitely not a hot rod gun like the 10 millimeter,
right.
But it was an absolute delight to shoot. The sights are a little bit funky on it. It was those kind of thin blade sights, and you just have to get used to sighting with those. But boy, that was one smooth trigger on that gun, and I'm not going to bring it out a lot, but it was just a lot of fun to shoot. And you know, how many times can you say a gun that's over 100 years old shoots that well?
It's almost as though the trigger is on roller bearings, those old revolvers like that. Just amazing stuff.
And it's a joy to take apart and clean, and a lot of fun to shoot.
Okay, I'm all right. Because you like cool guns, I'm going to recommend, it's just out, when you get a chance, go over and get your hands on the new Colt Python, try the trigger, try double action pull on it. And it may not be quite like your old 3220, but it's really, really good. I would say it is, and I've handled a lot of really nice revolvers, and particularly even those with trigger jobs. This is like it has a trigger job. It's just an amazing, amazing gun. I appreciate it. Hey, Michael, thank you for the range report, and congrats on the 10. I do love 10s. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how I fell in love with them. Part of it is, and I think it's what Michael said, part of it is that they're different. Oh, and let me just say something. I make fun of the 40 S&W, okay? Because it's kind of fun to say short and wimpy. Here's the reality of it. That is a great caliber. I mean, no kidding. When you go out and shoot it, you realize, okay, that's definitely snappier than a 9. It definitely has more energy than a 9. And if you can shoot it well, which is, of course, always the deal, right? I mean, if you can't shoot it, it doesn't do you any good. But if you can shoot it well, the 40 is a great caliber. And here's something I have seen recently. I don't know if you're seeing this everywhere. But there are a lot of really good, high-end, quality 40 caliber semi-automatic pistols, used ones for sale at bargain prices. And I think what's going on is that some people buy these, and either they don't shoot a lot, or they don't like them. They go out and say, well, it kicks a lot, or the ammo's... It used to be the ammo was a little more expensive. It's not really much more anymore. I mean, nothing's as cheap as 9, but as a self-defense gun, home protection gun, a carry gun, man, the 40 is a good caliber. And I will tell you that for me, I probably would not carry a 10 as my everyday carry gun. The guns tend to be a little larger if you're going to take advantage of the velocity. The recoil is definitely snappier. It's going to slow down second shots, follow-up shots, for me. It may not for you. Maybe you got, arms like Popeye and you can control that. I don't, and I can't as well. But a 40, I would do that. I currently generally carry 9s simply because it's just easier to standardize, and the ammo is so darn cheap these days. I keep telling you, I am buying 9mm ammo. I am buying 223 ammo. You can call it hoarding, you can call it stockpiling, I don't care what you call it. But I want to make sure that I have a lot of ammo. I think the prices are going to go up. I think it's going to get a little crazy again. Well, you know what? It's cyclical. It tends to do that anyway. And I haven't seen prices this cheap in a long time. And your local gun store has good deals. Go out and patronize your local gun store, okay? I mean, otherwise, they're not going to be there when you need them, all right? All right, looking for your range reports. What have you shot? Are you having trouble with a gun? See if we can help you out with that. Are you not hitting? Oh, I can help with that almost always. 866-TALK-GUN. Hitting is simple, right? Well, yeah, not easy, but simple. All right, back with you. 866 Talk Gun will get you in here. Let's go to the phone. Line 4. Ben's with us out of Kansas. Hey, Ben, give us this range report you got. Hello, Ben. In Beloit, Kansas. There he is. Go ahead, Ben.
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
All right. So I got a Taurus G2C here. Kind of a low-end gun. I'm sure you've heard of it. I bought it, and, I was kind of nervous. It's my first concealed carry gun. And I bought it, and I've heard a lot of reports. I did a lot of research before I bought it about the trigger having issues, being kind of catchy, kind of grimy. And
okay.
So I went ahead and bought it. It was only $200 anyways, so I was like, it's better than a High Point, I guess. And I've owned it a year now, and the trigger didn't bother me too bad, but I was watching YouTube, and I found this guy who has his own channel, and he makes these, I think he makes them himself. I don't know the guy, but I've just seen his videos, and he makes his own triggers to replace the issues, and the issue with them usually is there's a little safety lever on the front of these Tauruses that kind of catch. And I mean, it has a manual safety on the side is the only reason I did it. So that's why I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. It was $30. I bought it on eBay, and I like tinkering with guns anyway, so I took it all apart, got it in the mail. It looks good, and it did work. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting to have like a competition trigger, because it's just my concealed carry gun. It's not made for accuracy. It's just to get bullets down range, obviously, if I ever needed it. And I will say, in case there are any other Taurus owners out there, the G2C or the PT 111, whatever the other one is, I just kind of wanted to let all the other Taurus owners who are complaining about their triggers know that there is a cheap solution. Now, you're going to have to take your gun and your trigger box apart. You need a couple punches, and you'll have to find this guy.
Right. As with a lot of stuff, you may have to do some of that work yourself. And it is amazing how many times you can find solutions for things on YouTube. In fact, I think you can learn to do anything on YouTube these days, or obviously eBay if you're cruising there. Look, I appreciate the range report, sir. We did have, I love the comment from Mike in Idaho. He says, gun-free zones. Well, that means the caller or the carrier is free to carry a gun. So a gun-free zone sign to him means I am free to carry a gun. I find more and more people who are just saying, I don't care about your sign. And I understand. People say, well, that's breaking the law. Well, you know what? If it's an immoral law, if it's saying you must make yourself and your family and your children vulnerable to criminal attack in order to satisfy our political agenda, or our insurance company who has told us we must put up these signs, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I don't have to make myself more vulnerable. I do not have to endanger myself or my family. Now, when I get a chance, I try to avoid those places, but sometimes you can't. As long as it's not like a place that has, metal detector security, if it's not like a police station, courthouse, courtroom, that kind of a deal. But a lot of times, I keep talking to people who say, I just ignore them these days. I don't know what your take is. I don't know what you do, but it's kind of food for thought, coming up, we're going to be talking with somebody. This is very interesting. You see the Moms Demand Action gun ban group, the Every Town for Gun Safety, which is another Bloomberg AstroTurf group, basically made up groups, but they have a lot of people who are now active. They know how to marshal them. They are marketing groups. Why not a gun rights group made up of women? We got that going as well. You don't want to hear this. Also, what guns are you thinking about buying? We've got all these new ones. We talk about 10mm revolvers, shotguns, and the 5.7. A lot of things going on and new things coming up. 866 Talk Gun. Join us. Be right back with more Gun Talk.